After the disaster in part 1 of this video series, I came back 2 days later with my belly boat, and I launched the boat under the bridge over the main highway that crosses Brush Creek. I had so much fun that I decided I have to do it again. So on part 3, I am accessing Brush Creek at a different access point. I'm going to a place called Blackjack Access. Blackjack Access allows you to fish the little creek where it runs into a larger river. And I have fished there several times before, but I have never actually been on Brush Creek. So today, I studied the Google Maps to try to figure out where I would need to go to launch, and I'm ready to go. My plan is to park my truck at this point and walk down the little trail past the boat ramp and then walk along the edge of this timber line until I come to what appears to be a fence row. Then I'm going to walk across what looks like an open field until I find Brush Creek. And then using my belly boat, I'm going to float down Brush Creek until I get back where I parked my truck. It's a beautiful little drive after you leave the Blackjack Access sign until you get down to the point where I'm actually going to leave my car. On the left, you will see some outdoor restrooms. These outdoor restrooms are close to the launch ramp where you can launch your boat into the Sac River. But we're going to drive on by those because we're wanting to park our car where Brush Creek runs into Sac River. This is Sac River. It's a major river that runs between Stockton Lake and Truman Reservoir. And as you can see, we've had lots of rain, lots of water. There's lots of flooding. And if you do very much fishing right now on rivers and streams, you have to go to the little feeder creeks that don't take as long to run down as the big rivers do. This little creek right here is Brush Creek. And what we're going to do today is we're going to walk upstream from this point, take our belly boat, walk up, I don't know how far, because I'm going by Google Maps, I'm assuming about a half a mile. And then we're going to float back down. From this point, I'm guessing someplace across this field and then through some trees and another field should get me into where I can access Brush Creek about a half a mile above here. So here we go. I've never been here before. I've got to trust what I think I learned from Google Maps to find the right spot. It's supposed to get up to 98 degrees today, and this is about, well, it's exactly 10:20 in the morning, and so I'm following the tree lines in the shade, hoping that I can get there without having to walk across that field in the sun. On the Google Maps, it looked like a little trail, a farmer's road or something, and I think this is it that I'm following. If it is, should shorten my walk to get to where I want to go. I think those trees up there is the row of trees between the two fields that it showed on the map. If it is, we'll be about halfway when we get up there. Well, we're up here to the trees, and it does look like that it's just a short row of trees, and then we have to leave our trail and plunge out across that field, I think. Well, I've got to negotiate this fence, and then I'm hoping that Brush Creek is over in that other tree line. We got through the fence, and we're going to walk over there and see if that's not Brush Creek across this field. Well, we're across the field, and we'll see there's a fence here. Hey, there's water. Okay. We have found Brush Creek, and with the lake being up as much as it is, it's not a stream at all, but rather backwater pushed back from the floods. This is going to be a real challenge. Where I came down to the little creek, as you can see, it's just a steep embankment here, and it's going to be a challenge just to get in my belly boat. This is the best place I think I found to access it. The belly boat is ready to go. I'm ready to go, but we're going to be fishing lake instead of stream that we thought we were going to be fishing. There's the bank we came down, and we've successfully launched. That may be the most difficult thing I've done all day, but this is not what I expected at all. I can't believe it. This is supposed to be a little stream, a little crystal clear stream, but the water from the floods have backed up in here, and I don't know what we're going to do, but we'll try something. I fished all the way down that bank and around that old tree out in the middle. I've had not a strike. I think the fish are going to be so far out of their normal habitat, it's going to be kind of tough, but I've come over here where there's some shade and some trees, and I'm still trying to find something that'll work. Well, fishing the jig next to the bank doesn't seem to work. So I thought maybe under these conditions, maybe there's some open water fish, some white bass or something like that. So I'm putting on this crankbait. I'm going to give it a try. How can you not catch fish in this kind of water? The only sign of life I've seen in here is a buffalo and a carp and 2 gar. I've got to go on down through there, probably a half a mile, and in a belly boat, that takes a long time. Well, once again, this is not what I came for, but a nice channel cat. I had a follower on a crankbait, and so I switched to a strike indicator and jig, thinking I might catch that bluegill that was following it, and this guy hit it. Nice channel cat. Well, at least I'm not having to make a fishing video with no fish at all. I finally caught a fish. Something besides catfish. Got a little bluegill here. I'm using this little Christmas tree jig, and I've had several strikes on it, but it's a crappie size lure, and I'm really trying to catch crappie. But the bluegill are what seems to be wanting to bite. I could change to a smaller lure and catch them, but I still want to get the crappie. So this little Christmas tree jig, I call it, because it's got red, white, and blue flick in it, it's at least getting some attention. How can there not be a crappie in this spot? I should be getting close enough down to the point where the creek runs into the river to have some fish that stay in here all the time. They wouldn't be that far out of their normal habitat, I didn't think. I guess I should have gone catfishing instead of crappie fishing. This is the second catfish I've caught on my Christmas tree jig. Another channel. He's not quite as big as the other one, but nice fish. Christmas tree jig. Oh, once again, how can there not be crappie in this water? I guess the flooded conditions have just moved them around or something. Well, I've been fishing the shady side of the lake. I guess normally river, but it's lake now. All down through there. Well, over there is the fence that I climbed over on my way up. So I'm thinking I'm probably about halfway down. Maybe I'll start getting into some of the water that's flooded up during normal pool. Nice little inlet creek coming in from somewhere. I've never been up here before, so I have no idea where it comes from. Gotta be crappie country. Well, I pulled up to this old log and I hooked a crappie. I got him to the top of the water, and guess what? He got away. And I fished here about 5 minutes and haven't had another strike, but at least maybe I'm getting far enough down to catch something. Well, the size of the bluegill are at least getting bigger. They seem to respond to the yellow better than the white.
I've caught several little ones, but this is the biggest one I've caught. Well, I'm still catching several of these guys. Not like that one, but still no crappie. Just the bluegill. Catching them on crappie jigs because I didn't have any bluegill stuff with me. Well, we're back down to the river, back to the takeout place. We've come 3/4 of a mile with no current and a belly boat, and that's a lot of kicks, let me tell you, a lot of kicks. So I'm kind of glad to get back. I don't know how I'm going to get up that bank, but somehow I've got to figure out how to do it, because it's my only way out of here.
Well, it turned out that I did indeed have a problem. I could not get my belly boat out of the water. To get out of a belly boat, you have to have shallow water where you can drop it down around your feet and step out of it. And there was no shallow water. So I had no recourse other than to turn around and kick my way back up the river the direction I had come from for about 200 yards, where I finally found a tree that had a root system running into the water, and it also had a grapevine hanging down. I was able to throw my tackle out on the bank, use the grapevine and the root system to pull my way up and out of the water and eventually get back to my truck. Well, what a day I had. Nothing seemed to go the way I had planned it. But I had a lot of fun, caught a few fish, and got to see the little creek in a condition that I probably will never see it in again. But in a way, it was kind of sad because I went there to fish a small creek. So on my way back home, I stopped by the bridge where I had fished the previous time and let you see what the little creek looked like on that same day.